Hey friends, I'm Demetria, a web designer and podcast coach, and I'm super happy to be your host. My goal on this show is to encourage women entrepreneurs of faith on your business journey and to help you gain kingdom business clarity as you turn your profitable passion into a plan of action. You're listening to the Her Business Elevated podcast, episode number 56. And I have exciting news today. Finally, Christian Women Podcasters Network is launched. So I'm so excited to finally release this project, which has been in the making for about a year and a half. And it's finally here. So my question to you is, are you a passionate podcaster who's ready to amplify your voice and connect with like-minded women of faith? I don't want you to look any further because this network is calling your name, and I would love for you to join our vibrant community. We are a very small but mighty community of women entrepreneurs, storytellers, and faith-driven leaders. We're making waves in the podcasting world. So whether you're a seasoned podcaster or you're just starting out, I'm welcoming you with open arms into our community. For now, it is absolutely free. With time, we will be adding on membership tiers. And so I would love for you to join now while it is open to every podcaster of faith. It is interdenominational and we take a variety of topics. So what you can expect as a member is that you can collaborate and network with fellow podcasters who also share your faith and your vision and have access to resources, workshops, and expert advice to enhance your podcasting skills. So this is going to probably be packaged up in something like a Zoom meetings or some type of virtual meetups, but we're going to figure that all out as we go along. Right now, we just want to grow the network and get this rolling and started. And the last thing that we want to add to this community is support for inspiration, encouragement, and prayer. So we want to pray for one another in the podcasting world. So if you're ready to either start your podcast or take your current podcast journey to new heights, I would love for you to fill out the application form to join us at christianwomenpodcasters.com. All right. So on today's episode, we're going to be diving deep into the world of branding. And if you heard episode 54, you may remember that I mentioned tapping back into my website design services and adding that back to the table. And so, yes, that is back. And you can find my web design offerings at demetriazinga.com. So one thing I want to share with you as well is I've got a lot of projects going on, a lot of things that I would love to just push out there to you, but I don't want to overwhelm you with too much at the front end of this episode. So I'm going to be sprinkling these links and URLs throughout the show today. So it's going to be in the show notes as well, so you don't have to write anything down, but I want to refer to some of the resources that I've been publishing over the past month because I have been super, super busy. Since I haven't published, my publication schedule on this show is once a month. I haven't been able to share this with you guys. So I want to make sure that you know what I've got going on so that you can come and consume the content, listen to the videos, watch the videos when you get a moment. So I do have a lot of videos that I have been adding to my YouTube channel. Some of you might know that I had a YouTube channel for about 10 years and it was housed with mainly homeschool content. And then I switched over to business content and I started mixing both my business and homeschool videos over at my other YouTube channel. It's called Mom Zest. And for the longest, that is what I did. I mixed the two topics, but I found that it wasn't helpful at all in the algorithm for YouTube. And so it's better for me to keep the topics really focused on YouTube. And so having learned that lesson, I decided to separate my content and bring my business videos to my solopreneur channel. So I'm leaving a link to that, of course, so that you can see that channel in show notes. And throughout this show, you'll hear me talk about several of the videos that I've been uploading to that channel over the past month. So what we're going to talk about mainly is how to refine your brand identity. And I'm talking to you as though maybe you've just started your brand or you're kind of in the beginning stages. Now, if you've already gotten an established brand, then this is just going to be a refresher episode. But if you're just starting off, this can be really helpful to you. So we're going to explore the foundational elements of branding and then discover how to build a brand that really stands out. So first, I'm going to ask you to hop over to my YouTube channel so that you can watch the What You Need to Start a Website video. So I'll leave a link to that. It's all about how to get started with your website, all the things that you need to get in place when you're thinking of starting a brand new website or brand. And so I'll leave a link to that. I also have a video called Work With Me. It's the day in the life of a freelance web designer. So if you're interested in what it looks like for me on the design end of things on my everyday life, you can view that as well. And of course, leaving a link to that. So number one, when you share that your brand's mission is the heart and soul of your business. So I want you to really think about the mission of your brand before you ask someone to design a website for you. Please have this in mind. Know what your brand's mission is. It's going to be the reason why you do what you do. And the impact that you want to make in the world is going to be affected by this brand mission. So you have to take time to reflect on your mission statement. If you don't have a mission statement, you need to sit down and figure that out. So ask yourself what values and beliefs actually drive your business. What is it that you want to build your business on? What are those beliefs? And how do you want to make a difference in the lives of your customers? So when you clearly define your mission, you're going to lay that groundwork for a purpose-driven brand that resonates with your audience. So always having a mission and having purpose in the beginning of your brand building is going to help you to have a better clarity so that you know what you're doing, so that your web designer knows how to proceed in designing for you. So anybody else you have on your team can help you with your mission. My second tip for you is to uncover your core values. So your brand's values are these principles, I guess, that guide or shape your decision making, and it helps you in making decisions in your business, and it also affects your behavior in your business, how you move within your business. So when you identify your core values, of course, this is all pointing to your brand mission. You have to have your core values in order to know what your mission is, and your mission helps to feed into your core values. These are going to be values that are non-negotiable for your brand. So what do you stand for? What qualities do you want to be known for? Your values are going to attract like-minded customers, and they're also going to inspire loyalty and trust in your brand. So I'm very clear and precise about what I want for Her Business Elevated at this point. When I first started Her Business Elevated, this is a brand that was kind of a baby in the making, and it wasn't really extremely clear when I first began, but now I know that I am catering to the woman of faith who's an entrepreneur, and the values that she stands for are loyalty to her customers, clarity in her thought processes, truthfulness in her business dealings, just being loyal, being trustworthy, and also boldness because she steps out in faith to uncover all of the hidden things inside of her heart that God has put in her heart to do, and to be bold enough to act on those things that she knows she's called to do. So my core values in my business is to attract women like that so that we can work together to help propel her to be all that she can be in the virtual space, whether it's through ministry or her business. And likewise, I have to do the same thing for my other brands, for Christian Homeschool Moms brand and for my Impact Podcast Coach brand, as well as my website, demetriazinga.com, which is kind of the home base for everything that I do. The podcast coaching and the web design, everything is there or is pointing to it. And so my goal is to create an identity online that attracts the kind of customers that I want coming into my world that I wish to serve. So if someone's coming into my world, they're already somewhat vetted. That's why I don't have a lot of people flying into my radar, because when they see what I stand for, they either are loving it or they're turned off by it. So it's a way for me to position myself to attract just the right people. So I recommend you do that. Uncover your core values and let it be known in the beginning of your brand building process that this is who you are and this is what you want to portray to the world. Number 3, find your voice. So your brand's voice is the personality that shines through in every piece of content you create. So I try to not allow myself to be too scripted on my podcasts or on my videos. So I do a lot of editing and post-production because I am pausing and saying and a lot. So I kind of edit all of that out and piece my shows together so it's a little bit more seamless. But I do try to be myself and not use too much scripting, although I do have outlines that help me stay on track so I know what I'm talking about and I'm not getting lost and getting wordy and that kind of thing. So I do want to stay on track. But just being myself, which means I'm not necessarily a really funny person. I'm not extremely witty. I'm not those things, but what I am is sincere. I'm serious, usually. I am down to earth. I am warm. I am understanding. I'm patient. So that will probably come through in my podcast. So I just be myself, and I'm suggesting that you do the same. Be yourself. So whoever you are, let that be known in your brand. So whether you're witty and playful or you're serious, whether you're authoritative, your voice needs to reflect the essence of your brand and resonate with your target audience. And I say this on my other podcast as well, Soul Podcasting, because that's exactly what we have to free ourselves to do when we're behind the microphone as a podcaster, is just to be yourself. So experiment with different tones, different styles, and the language that fits you perfectly and authentically represents yourself and your brand. I would love for you to take a look at a video that I posted a few weeks ago called How to Boost Your Website Visibility. And this is going to show you some ways that you can make your brand known across the web in a way that doesn't cost you a fortune. And these are 5 tips for solopreneurs to help you become more visible in Google. So as you're finding your voice, your brand voice, then you also want to make sure that people can find you. So I'd love for you to look at that video as well. My 4th tip for you is creating consistency across all the different touch points that you have, because consistency is going to be key to building a strong and memorable brand identity. So make sure that you have those brand elements like your logo, your typography, your messaging, your colors, all these things that a web designer like myself is really giddy about. And I get into that kind of thing because I love designing and I love piecing together your website, coding on the back end, but mostly the front end visual development. I love pulling together your brand board, your mood board, your color palette, and your typography. This is just such a beautiful process to me. And eventually I'd like to sit down and show my process on YouTube. I haven't gotten around to creating a video like that yet, but I'd love to do that soon. When you make sure that all of your brand elements are cohesive across all your social media channels and your website and your packaging and your marketing materials, it just helps with consistency so that your brand comes off as more established. And that consistency breeds trust and familiarity, and it makes it easier for customers to actually recognize your brand and connect with you. I'd love for you also to check out my YouTube, which is my month in review process. And these are tips to help you review your business each month. And this is something I've been doing every month for about maybe a year and a half is when I started really putting this into practice more regularly instead of just kind of one-off thing that I do on occasion. And it's really, really helpful. It's like reflection and journaling every single month about what your business looks like at the end of the month and what you can do to make improvements for the following month. And so I talk about that process on my video, which I will give you the link to in the show notes. But this video is called Tips to Review Your Business, my month in review process. And I'd love for you to take a look at that. This is going to help you with evolving your brand over time, not just from your brand elements and remaining consistent, but the idea of evolving your brand over time. Because as your business grows and evolves, you should also be evolving your brand identity. So it's okay to revisit and refine your brand elements and your logo. Even you can change things as you need to. I've changed my branding on multiple occasions for my several different brands just to kind of refresh, keep up with design trends of the day so that I'm not outdated, and also just to really reflect where I am personally in my journey as I've grown and improved. You know, I want my branding to grow up along with me. So don't be afraid to revisit that and just kind of keep an ear to the ground and listen to feedback from your audience to make sure that your brand keeps resonating and inspiring them. And so again, you know, to watch the video about tips to review your business on every month, just to see what you can do to make improvements. And then another video that I'll suggest to you is how to build your online business on a budget. So if you need some budget branding tips, I have that available for you as well. I do have some tips about how to purchase your domain name and how to figure out which hosting you need depending on on what your budget is and what you're looking for. So I have some suggestions for that on that video as well. And in conclusion, building a strong brand identity is a journey, okay? It's not a destination. You have to take your time and give yourself the space to move throughout your journey. Define your mission, define your values, define your voice. These are all going to lay the foundation for a brand that stands out, but it will make a meaningful impact in the lives of your customers. So just remember that your brand is a lot more than a logo. It's not just your logo and your color palette. It's the promise that you're making to your customers and clients. So go ahead and embrace your uniqueness, be yourself, and go ahead and build that brand that shines brightly. I am proud of you. I am happy for you. I want to celebrate you. And so I would love for you to share with me what you've been doing and how you've started your brand and what your brand is. So you can share that with me in a couple of ways. It's very difficult to interact on Apple Podcasts or any type of podcasting directory. So what I like to do is ask you to come to my YouTube channel where all of my podcasts are also posted. So if you want to interact and communicate with what we're talking about on the shows, you can do so by visiting my YouTube channel. You can just simply look for my name in YouTube, or you can look for the Her Business Elevated podcast and you'll see a playlist and you'll find all the episodes that I've been able to connect to YouTube, because YouTube now has a podcasting feature where we're now able to connect our podcast to YouTube. So it makes it really convenient. So you can find me there and communicate with me there, but you can also come to my Instagram and chat with me as well. And my Instagram is at Demetria Zinga. My YouTube is also my name. You're going to find that at Demetria Zinga, Web Design and Solopreneur Lifestyle. Okay, so that's how you can find me. And again, all of this information is in the show notes because there's no way that you're going to be able to remember everything I tossed at you today. So just head over to show notes, which is going to be in Apple Podcasts or wherever you download your podcast. You'll find the show notes and the links to everything that I mentioned today in today's show. Thank you for tuning in to Her Business Elevated. Be sure to subscribe for more insights and inspirations to help you thrive as an entrepreneurial woman. Again, I'd love for you to join me at the Christian Women Podcasters Network. You can do so at christianwomenpodcasters.com. And if you are interested in a website design or branding or a podcast auditing, you can visit me at demetriazinga.com. And until next time, keep shining your light and making a difference in the world to your business success.